Hope that came through okay. Hey, how's it going, guys? I got a little bit of business up front, and I want to do a little bit of something fun, hopefully. I think this is actually going to be more fun for you than it's going to be for me. This is probably going to be a pain in the ass for me. But first things first. I am very appreciative of all the support that you are giving to both me and Jake. Everybody that does listen to Blacktooth, I know that I get like 1 or 2 listeners out there. I think it's Lee and probably some like algorithm that listens to my shit just to keep an eye on me. Or like the FBI, hopefully. But I'm very grateful for all the not only like support, but you guys are fucking actually really positive, and I was expecting to get a lot of like fuck you, I don't care, but everybody's like been really chill about it and said that we're pretty funny on mic, and like much like this, it's just been kind of an exercise in both of us doing like, you know, trying our hand at something that we like, because we're really just feeling this out, you know, along there right there with you guys. But it's been pretty cool. It's been very cool, and I really appreciate everybody saying that we're funny. We're gonna keep working, and we're gonna try and actually make it into more of a real show. Give you guys something to, you know, listen to, as opposed to me and him just getting high and then me having to bleep every other fucking word because they're fucking pieces of shit and say last names and all sorts of other fucking naughty words that we can't put on YouTube, but. No, really, I appreciate that. I hope I didn't confuse anybody, because I had to migrate all the Blacktooth videos over to the Blacktooth Podcast YouTube page now, and I'll be uploading directly to there. So I locked all the Blacktooth eps on this page. This is just going to be me. This is just going to be under the influencer videos, which are the, you know, movie reviews and maybe some other random shit that I don't want to put directly onto Blacktooth. But, you know, just keep your eyes peeled. Shit'll happen, and you know. We're kind of learning as we go, but we're having fun with it, and it's like really kind of giving me and him something fun to aspire to do. So like hopefully everything works, everything goes well. Till then, we still got some time. I get to watch a movie and then do my own mental illness thing over here by myself. So let's give me one of those. You know, thank you, I appreciate that. Fucking. It's gratifying. It's gratifying, you know, being able to do this. It's a very big stroke of the old ego. I think it's very soothing to me, though, to be able to externalize my problems into the abyss. Basically, it's fun. I think I've said that like 30 times by now. We're on episode, I think, 47 now. And I've said it so many fucking times. It's just really like, this is nice. I just enjoy doing this. You guys are probably going to enjoy hearing me fucking spaz on this one, because this is where, after all of these newly acquired listeners and followers and shit, which we do appreciate, I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot and end up saying something like horrifically racist here. But this is going to be an exercise in prejudice, I guess, basically. And I want to be absolutely, floored and proven wrong with my assumptions about this film, because I don't automatically assume about everything that Netflix puts out, but there's like some films that stand out like a fucking sore thumb, where it's like, you're not doing this because you like making movies. You're doing this because you have some ulterior motive and want to get paid. And that's I want to point these out so that people can understand when a good movie is made, and it's a little bit weird, and it's not something that's like a Marvel movie where it's got like, it's basically just propaganda wrapped up into this nice little fucking cape bow thing, or fucking mask, or fucking spandex, whatever the fuck you want to contextualize it as. When someone makes a good movie, it's distinct from that. It's something that stands out. But then in the other direction, there's films where it's not that they're bad movies, but I will deliberately ignore them because it's so obvious. It's like a formula for, give me like a pool of like 100 current events and like 20 different types of protagonist, and we're just going to take 4 or 5 or 6 or however many, necessary to satiate, like a 95 100-minute runtime. Like how many of those subjects we can explore, and then you take two of these characters that are the polar opposites of each other, but they're basically two things that like they're gonna have to interact. There's this really good. I'm gonna try and find it, but I highly doubt I'm gonna be able to use it on YouTube. But there's this really funny WebM that I see floating around where they make fun of Vice for like the current iteration of Vice being just like basically that, where there's a gentleman sitting at a desk in a chair, and he decides to blindfold himself or cover his eyes, and then he reaches into a drawer and pulls out a bunch of dildos and begins throwing them at a whiteboard that it has like location, disability, and like something like identity thing or whatever. And the dildos hit, so it's like Venezuelan ecstasy or ketamine dealers and transgender or something like that. And then they go to an actual Vice article that's like the plights of Venezuelan transgender ketamine dealers or something. And it's like this formulaic thing, and it's very obvious in the way that media is presented right now. And I think it's unfair to call these movies. I think that they deserve their place. Like, don't get me wrong, but comparing this to cinema, or like regarding this as cinema rather, is a bit of a stretch. And I don't think anybody's doing that either. But I'm just saying Netflix is creating this stuff, and they have the opportunity and the platform to create and make stuff that is like far superior to this if they take a risk. It's not always going to pay off when you take a risk, but sometimes you do create great shit. Like Amazon Prime does a pretty good job of taking risks, and usually they bust, but there's a few gems that are out there. Like The Lost City of Z wasn't that bad. I like that movie compared to like some of the other shit I've seen turned out by them. But like, at least they tried, and when they try, it shows. This just kind of looks like everything about it is not only phoned in, but it's like, all right, you got to hit these key points and satiate these demographics and certain things. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that. Look at, and like to always go back to citing this, look at Black Klansman. That is a Spike Lee film. Spike Lee and a plethora of other actors in Hollywood are extremely cagey with the way that they conduct themselves because they know that they don't like certain white people, and that's understandable. They probably have grown up seeing, white people as bad. You can't change that, but you can't like make propaganda in the esteem of that with no artistic like you can't just like present it as such and then expect people like me to just be like, hey, look, like I get why you're doing this, and it's like it's gonna sell, but like please, like why aren't you using these funds to like risk it on like some indie filmmaker and like give him a shot? Instead, it's like they're giving someone with a hyphenated last name an opportunity because they know that that's exotic and sells right now. And I'm sorry if I heard of this person before I found out they're directing a Netflix film, like I would be like, okay, like, hey, fucking, what's his face? Fucking Ben Affleck. He's not like a fucking, or Clint Eastwood rather, like someone like that, where they're like, fucking Sofia Coppola. Let's give her a shot too. Throw her name into the mix. But like anybody where it's like an established act or an established director, where you at least like know that they've put in the legwork to try and do something and like make it artistic, despite whatever its intended purposes or the messages or whatever. At least they put an artistic spin on it. This, I'm just assuming, is going to be the backdrop of some kind of sci-fi or futuristic, gangster movie, it looks like. But there's going to be a bunch of woke bullshit in it. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Because I enjoyed Prospect so fucking well. And that's like right around the time this woke shit started. And you know what? Despite it having a female protagonist, it actually fucking functions. And she literally conquers her patriarchy. And nothing works out for her, but that's the fucking message. It's like you kind of just have to like work with what you have, regardless of what you're like. I don't know. I'm already getting into a fucking frenzy right now, and I'm trying not to piss anybody off because I am, riding the elation of some other fucking positive shit. But the film's called Kate. It's got Woody Harrelson in it. I'm hoping that it's better than I'm expecting, but it just kind of looked sci-fi, and I got to do this shit with Mark eventually. But until then, you're stuck listening to my dumbass, get high and ramble about films. So without further ado, we are watching Kate on Netflix. All right, we're coming in hot. That was I'll give it one of these. That was a bad movie. Can't decide whether or not I want to call it Johnette Wick or John Chick. I think I want to go with John Chick just because it rolls off the tongue better. But yeah, this is a film by a French dude who really wanted to make a John Wick movie. And I feel like Netflix gave him the platform, probably gave him some parameters for like how he wants to do it. But it's like John Wick makes sense. It's a story about redemption. Redemption. Wow. No, that's not Taxi Driver. Revenge is the word I'm looking for. The other R word. All right, that's stupid. Yeah, revenge. And it's a very easily understandable thing. Guy has family. Family dies. Wife leaves him dog. Dog is connection to wife. Russian mafia kills dog. Guy kills Russian mafia. Makes fucking sense. This is trying to be the exact. It's just like trying to be a female carbon copy of it. But yeah, just from the get-go, it's so convoluted and up its own ass that the gunplay and the fighting is just kind of like. It is what it is. It's just kind of wallpaper. It's not a bad action movie. Like, I'll give it that. Yeah, and I have to kind of come back and dial back and apologize. It was not a sci-fi movie, unless you count like them using experimental like doses of radiation as like science fiction kind of. I guess as in like the form of a poison. But yeah, other than that, I just mistake Japan as sci-fi. That whole country is they're a very progressive, industrious people with certain focus on technologies and certain advancements, and their cities are very hybridized and futuristic. So yeah, that's why I thought it was a sci-fi. But no, it just turns out it's just Japan. I think just because I watched Blade Runner the other day too, see Japanese shit, it's like, oh yeah, that's the future. I don't know why, but anyway, no, it's just a cheap knockoff of John Wick that has the chick from Scott Pilgrim in it, and then Woody Harrelson's the bald guy, so therefore he's the bad guy. They did it to Travolta, they did it to Nick Cage. Yeah, once they make you bald, you're the bad guy. It is what it is. Oh, I guess the only person that they leave out of that is Bruce Willis. I think Bruce Willis has been the bad guy once in a while. I guess he's not really bald yet in Pulp Fiction, but I would call him more of an anti-hero than the good guy. Same with Die Hard. I mean, yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so back to Kate. Yeah, this movie is like a solid 5. Like, I mean, the action's fine. Action's like very implausible. You gotta really suspend disbelief. Which like this is like one of those things where I thought this was just gonna kind of be like something. I just wanted to watch it because it's a new movie. I haven't seen it before, and it's not like I was like outwardly pissed off by anything by it. But it is just like, yeah, like you gotta relinquish that as soon as you see that. Oh, this is just them trying to rip off John Wick, and like several other movies too. Like off the I had a couple that were off the top of my head, but yeah, like there's like the logic, like I said, of John Wick is it's beautiful in its simplicity, and then everything, just because you have a very simplistic framework, you're able to explore a lot of like fun action stuff that takes its time to be like yeah, not like grounded, but like it just kind of gives you like breathing room. Like, yeah, it's like relentless and it's action packed, but like you have these nice little moments, and like the the characters kind of have a moment to breathe as well as the audience. But also like the tension is still there. There's a ticking clock. It's like the ticking clock just kind of kicks in. And so the problem with it is that, like I said, the story's convoluted. They're trying to tell this chick Kate's story while also using the trajectory of another character, kind of like learning that she's being used like a pawn, just kind of like the main character, Scott Pilgrim chick, is finding out. Like they kind of like are going through the same thing simultaneously, but she has like the age and experience and like the naivety of a girl is like something that she never had. So she's kind of watching like that naivety and like innocence of youth like be squandered in front of her, and she's doing what she can to protect that. Like super on the fucking nose. It's not like I said, you could have kind of just like said that, this is almost a 2-hour movie, and it's very fucking on the nose. It's not subtle at all. I would say, honestly, the names are a little more, and like at the same time, Japan. Like, it is a culture I do not fucking understand. I have no desire to try and wrap my head around. Like, I don't mind sushi. I actually enjoy like Japanese culinary things. Albeit like I won't try everything, but they do kind of set the benchmark for Eastern cuisine, which as a cook you have to respect. They don't use pepper, which I find interesting. Don't quote me on that. That's something that one of my chefs just used to throw around. But yeah, allegedly Japanese people don't use pepper. I don't know if that's true or not, but I haven't used a recipe or encountered it on my own where it's not like westernized. But anyway, I'm getting off topic again. So convoluted, and you know what, the other thing too is that like John Wick has these like moments that are like kind of funny, like not like outwardly gut-bustingly funny, but like it is kind of like it takes itself very seriously, as does this movie, and the moments that it uses to breathe sometimes are just kind of like, what the fuck. You're like, for example, in John Wick there's like the safe house, and in or that might be the second one, I don't fucking know. There's like these like just moments, like I haven't seen those films in a while, but like off the top of my head I just know that there's a scene where there's a safe house, and they kind of use that to like slow things down and give a little bit of exposition, but like not enough where it's like, all right, we're just gonna tell you the whole fucking story. It just kind of is like enough for them to sit down and be like, here's the deal, all right, your terms are acceptable, see you out in the world. That's what it is. They like go from the girl being almost knocked off to her being bubbly and cheery, and them sharing a cheeseburger or something like out in a very public place after being pursued by fucking 20 plus Yakuza members, which, by the fucking way, all right, let me back up. Like I said, I don't understand Japanese culture at all, but I do understand a little bit about mobster shit, and there's a couple of things about the Japanese Yakuza that I learned that's very interesting. Two things. The Yakuza, and this was like a plot element I was not expecting them to like just completely overlook. The Yakuza have like a very broad-reaching access to like all sorts of shit. They're like the Casa Nostra or whatever the Italian mob would like to be currently regarded as, but the Casa Nostra, whatever, the Sicilians. They have a bloodline thing. They have like, you got to kind of be born into a lot of the activities, if not like be at the right place at the right time. The Yakuza, it's kind of the same deal. Like, you got to be at the right place at the right time. Most of the time you're born into this shit. But because of that, the Japanese, as do Italians for the most part, have like large families, and they kind of like know that like not everybody is going to be a gang member. They're going to have this like broader reach. So they insist on like school being prevalent, like education, because if you go, you're more useful to the family by not only not being a gang member, but like having a resource outside of that. So a couple of years ago, I want to say it was like UC Berkeley or like UCLA, one of the two, some California college. Their medical school took like a gift donation from a Yakuza member and 4 of his cronies because they needed liver transplants, and you have to be put on a wait list for a liver transplant because there's a priority for that in the medical community. And these Yakuza guys basically bribed their way to the top because they knew somebody that was going to UCLA. It was like some favor of a favor of a favor, and these dudes needed liver transplants, and then UCLA kind of was busted for putting them at the front of the list for these transplants. And I do believe the main dude, the highest ranking member of the Yakuza, did get the transplant. But fun fact about that, the reason they need liver transplants is because when they get tattooed in a way where when their skin heals, it kind of creates a scar tissue that makes your skin not really sweat very well. And your skin is like kind of like a secondary like filter, like you sweat to like filter shit out, as does your liver. They work like copacetically. So when you seal yourself shut, as the Yakuza members do with their tattoos and the like way that they heal, they really don't sweat. So they end up having like a high like rate of liver failure in the Yakuza. For one reason or another, it's because they eat a lot of raw fish and drink a lot, I'm assuming, and their liver can't deal with it, and they can't sweat out the toxins. So like all that's retained, and they die. And like apparently, it's like you're of a certain esteem if you're a Yakuza member that has like real bad liver disease. Anyway, the fucking fucking none of the Yakuza members are missing fucking fingers. When they fuck up, like a way that they kind of have like a hierarchical like a way of identifying like a Yakuza member without like, you know, have them outright saying it or anything, is that they have to, when they fuck up, they cut off chunks of their fingers, like from the knuckles on down. And like if they're missing like not only several fingertips, but like an entire finger, it means they're like a real dum-dum and have like fucked up royally. So, like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with these Yakuza fun facts, but they're like I said, there's like these moments of like levity in John Wick. This is what I was getting at the entire time. There's moments of levity in John Wick that like kind of like let it breathe. There's these moments, but like they don't all function correctly. But there are like a couple of moments where it's like, okay, I do kind of like that, like just everything is House of fucking Flying Daggers. Like it's just paper walls and like a fort. Like I like that. The bathhouse scene was kind of funny too, where like she scares the guy and all the other Yakuza members are giggling. Like that was kind of funny. But overall, it's just like it does feel kind of just like they were trying really, really hard to rip off another movie. So, there's not like too much wokeness in this. It was like I said, I was like a little predisposed to thinking this was going to be like ultra woke, even though it is like this bullshit, like kind of like, oh, you know, you can conquer the world by, you know, with girl power. And it's like, no, you can't. This chick literally gets shot in the face. Like the logic of the film is fucking retarded. Not only is it convoluted, but there's so much illogical shit. So you're supposed to believe in the first scene, the first person she assassinates, she shoots the motherfucker through the throat in profile, which, fucking hilarious. They dressed the little girl like Jackie fucking Kennedy too. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but that is fucking funny. I was like, that's uncomfortable. I don't know if they did that like knowingly. So there's like that, and just like the fact that she's able to, with a bolt action, get off a shot through the guy's neck and then a shot through the guy's fucking temple all in like under a second. Like it's not impossible, but it's highly implausible. Like even for a skilled sniper to fucking do that. But it just, anyway, like we'll not like disregard the logic of the film. There's like a lot of beating that she takes. She gets shot in the face. The beginning of the film, she's like you're supposed to believe that the hospital is just going to have like preloaded adrenaline syringes. I guess she tells the doctor to mix them for her, but like I don't think that's real. I don't think they do that. I think they have like probably some kind of like, you know, narcotic, like, you know, some kind of cocaine, something to the effect of that for like a local anesthetic in a pinch. But I highly doubt they just have fucking like adrenaline. And that's going to somehow fight radiation sickness? Sure. All right. And I believe she's requesting a blood transfusion at one point too. Like there's so many gaping holes in this fucking plot, and it's like it's vaguely it's gentler than I was expecting, but it's like vaguely like done in the estate. Like she at one point cuts her hair off, or is like in a fight and her hair gets cut off, and she looks somehow more like Sigourney Weaver and just gets like a bomber jacket out of nowhere. And like you're getting like very Sigourney Weaver vibes, and like they kind of did that in whatchamacallit, the fucking Land of the Dead or Army of the Dead. That was it, I think, the Army of the Dead. Yeah, like they did that. Like I don't understand why everybody's just like trying to rip off fucking Alien or Aliens right now. Just fucking make something original. Or like it's already John Chick. Like you don't need to fucking bring aliens into this. I don't understand why. Just have a fucking original idea. Like it's not fucking hard. I had an original idea for a movie where it's like, and like I could probably shoot this in like 2 days with like a couple $100 and like the right actors. But like I thought it would be like a fun idea for a guy who's like being stalked by like an alien that's in some kind of like, I don't know, Signs or M. Night Shyamalan fucking like cloaking thing. And then this guy that's like hunting, he's like hunting a deer and he fucks up and he ends up shooting the alien by accident. And then like the plot just kind of goes from there. I thought that would be a fun idea for a fucking short film or something. But like, you know, it's not necessarily like the most grounded idea, but you know what? At least it's something fucking original. I'm sure it's somewhere Stephen King or like fucking Philip K. Dick or someone fucking wrote a fucking sci-fi novel about this shit. Fucking H.G. Geiger, is that the other guy? And fucking H.P. Lovecraft, that guy. J.G. Geiger? J.G. Wentworth? Yeah, I don't fucking know where I'm going with any of this. Kate's fine. It's not a great movie. I would rather just watch John Wick because at least they have a cute little beagle puppy in the John Wick films, and Keanu Reeves is a good actor. This is just like kind of a muddled mess, but if you like action and you don't mind, like, oh my god, the fucking silencer too. Let me rephrase. Yeah, no, all the silencers, and I know that's not what you're supposed to call them. You're supposed to call them suppressors. Apparently, you can make a fucking suppressor out of a fucking Maglite that you get from a fucking whatever that. There's 7-Elevens and then whatever that Midwestern fucking supermarket that Japan has taken off somehow that I learned about on Vagrant Holiday. Yeah, like they have 7-Elevens and then like they have like these other ones that starts with W, I think. But yeah, she's in one of those. Fucking bizarre. But anyway, yeah, she makes a fucking silencer out of that. I would call it a suppressor, but it's not a suppressor. Suppressor, it just like you need subsonic ammo for a suppressor to like fully suppress, but subsonic ammo also doesn't really like make a sound. The suppressor just kind of makes it hard to like figure out where the shots are coming from. There's no such thing as a silencer. All these silencers in this film are fictional things. So you gotta, if you know anything about guns, you gotta suspend disbelief. But yeah, all that being said, like, I don't know, just fucking shut your brain off and watch Kate. I think I'm done on this one. I don't know. I think that the Yakuza thing was like a fun little fact that you guys probably weren't expecting me to know. Because I don't know, I've never expressly like said that I enjoy Japanese shit. Like it's probably like Asia's probably like my least favorite. You know what? I'm just gonna cut this off right now before I say anything stupid. Thank you for listening, and look out for new Blacktooths on the other podcast channel. But if you want to keep listening to me have mental illness about movies, listen to this one. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Good night.